The people who are new to stacking, is it too late? Hello, everyone. Tiger Stacker here. This is a very important interview. This man is well known in the stacking community. He is one of the first in the community, highly knowledgeable on many topics, a stacker for years, and content creator and educator for years. He is highly motivated, putting out many videos and live streams per week. How does he do it? I don't know. I can't. My job slows me down on YouTube. He actually is really a powerhouse, putting out 2-3 videos a day, multiple live streams per week. So I want to introduce to you my guest today, Salivate Metal. So highly respected by everyone in the community that he is referred to as Uncle Sal. Please give a warm welcome to one of the greatest, Salivate Metal. Welcome, Uncle Sal.
Well, thank you for having me, Tiger Stacker. I heard some golf clapping out there.
Golf clapping?
Yeah, you said welcome, Salivate Metal. So everybody's kind of little faint claps in the distance. So yes, indeed. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing okay.
It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you. I never thought I would have a chance to at such a small channel of 1,500 plus to interview one of our first in the community, let alone one that's very well known and very highly respected. So I'm the one who's truly honored.
Well, I think, we're all individuals, and with what you do with your line of work, there's a lot of respect that I have for you there. You really help people, and that's really the bottom line and what it's all about. We help people in different ways, and in many cases even some of the same ways, and your channel has grown, and you provide a great service, and so I think we all play our role in this community, and you certainly are making your niche as well. So I want to thank you for that, and for everything that you've done is for my channel as well, and for being a part of the community.
Thank you, sir. That means so much to me. Well, there are so many things I could talk about. Your origin in stacking, how you got into politics, how it interacts with stacking, only to name a few. If there's anything particular you wish to go and discuss, I'm all ears. Before we start, I want to thank you for the video you did on the West Virginia House Bill 4382 and 4582 that led me to get in contact with Delegate Chris Pritt here in West Virginia, for which I've had an awesome interview and multiple live streams, most recently one a day or so ago. So let's just warm up. What led you to stacking and YouTube, unless you want to go into some other topic that you have already in mind?
No, that's a very good question. I started stacking, I guess, a long time ago, probably back well over 30 years ago. And, silver was a whole lot cheaper back then. And by the way, it was mostly silver. And I still show some of that silver in my videos today, sort of as a reminder, not only to me, even if I don't mention in videos, that, if you stick with silver long enough, you will do well. And what does that mean? You'll preserve your wealth. It's about savings. And I first got into YouTube after stacking and collecting. I'm also a collector. I don't shy away from that aspect of it as well. And I love the look of silver. It's a way to save and something that you can touch, you can feel, you can see. And I just find that fascinating. And what got me into YouTube was that tactile notion of seeing other people unbox and showcase precious metals. And that's how it all started for me. Almost 12 years ago, was that aspect of it, seeing precious metals. Not much commentary. There was some commentary on some channels back then, but not a whole lot of it. It was mostly just showcasing some silver pieces, and there was very few content creators in the precious metals community. I would like to think that I was one of the first in the precious metals community as we know it today, which has had several different iterations. But back then, it was a few others, and then I came aboard, and those others have since stopped posting or post very infrequently. One, Big Stack McGee, was one of the original, the OGs, I call him, but he, I think, has recently retired from YouTube, posting videos. But yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then the channel has evolved since then to where it is today.
Wow. Well, I can tell you that I really enjoy what you post. I don't get to watch as much as I want, but I get as much as I can, and especially when I'm driving. driving. To listen to your live streams and the education that happens in the live streams, that's my favorite place to listen is when I have to drive somewhere.
There's a lot of people that tell me that. There's a trucker that listens to me while on the road, and it's like kind of like a podcast. It is sort of like that in a way. With obviously, I do showcase precious metals, and I don't really tinker around with them a whole lot. Sometimes I'll fondle some of the silver or gold in the videos. A lot of times, when I do my videos, it's very much just kind of off the cuff. That put the metals up there. I record pretty much free form. I don't write a script. There's not heavy editing going on. It's just kind of me discussing, maybe fumbling over some words. I could be a lot more articulate than I am, but I don't. A lot of it because it's news. I don't really sometimes to be quick in posting it because I am very busy. I have a full-time job as well. A lot of my time just goes into research, so I don't really write out scripts per se. But but I have found that there's a lot of people that do like to listen as opposed to watch while they're driving.
And you just answered some of that next question. Is like, how do you do it? I'm going to ask you if you're related to the Energizer Bunny.
Oh man. It does take a lot of time between my full-time job and the YouTube. I'm probably doing close to 80 hours a week between the two. And so it is a strong commitment. But, what keeps me going is my regular viewers. And I'm trying to grow the channel as well. So I appreciate the new viewers. But really, it's folks like you and others who watch regularly that mean a lot to me. I'm trying to increase that audience. But yeah, it does take a lot of time and effort. And you know what it means and what it's like to produce videos and branding and everything. And by the way, you've done a great job with branding your channel.
Thank
you. Right.
I think I've already established the brand, and now I need to give people, I think, what they want more, which is content plus to look at silver.
Right. And you've got some beautiful pieces there.
Well, this was specially set up for our conversation because a lot of what you teach is how our government is destroying money. And these coins all have secondary meanings, such as Trojan Horse, the House of Cards, Liberty. This particular piece right here, Welcome to Wall Street, they talk about naked shorts. I'm assuming you're familiar with this series.
Yes, I've seen it. I don't have any of them, but I am familiar with it. I think the one that's QE, Infinity and Beyond. Is that right? Yes. The first? That was the first one?
That was the very first one. They come in 5 ounces and 2 ounces, and their prices have skyrocketed since they started doing it.
Wow. And that's from SD Bullion, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I buy a lot from SD Bullion, but not exclusively.
Right.
In fact,
nice.
I don't think they sell your channel round. I bought your channel round on JM Bullion.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They've not put in an order for them. I think APMEX has them, and JM Bullion and all of the A-Mark affiliates. So in other words, Provident Metals, Silver.com, Bullion Exchanges, I think has them. Everybody that's related to that has the channel round, but some of the independent companies haven't picked up on it yet. But that's a nice series. How many are they going to be doing?
I have no clue.
A lot of these are open-ended series. They'll keep them open-ended. If there's still interest in them, they'll make another one and keep it. There are plenty of topics to showcase on these rounds for sure, considering what's going on in the world today.
Most certainly, it's really hard, especially in silver, because silver's a whole lot less pricey than gold. With gold more expensive, I tend to stick with more traditional stuff almost always. In silver, it's a little hard because I want to try to stick to stuff that's more traditional, therefore more liquid, but it's kind of hard when you see pretty things.
It really is. That's the collector-ness.
Exactly. So what led you to collecting silver? You said you started 30 years ago.
Yeah, I'm probably a little more than that now, longer than that. But yeah, it's just the look of it. And my first silver bar was a Johnson Mathey 1 ounce silver bar. I still have it somewhere. It's intermingled with the rest of my Johnson Mathey. I wish I would have kept it out separate. But it's just that was really what started it. I was like, I like this. It's a 1 ounce silver bar. Then I got the 5 ounce bars and collected silver eagles. We're all stacked to silver eagles and other silver rounds, and just randomly here and there as I could afford to do so. And then it got to the point where silver's price was stagnant. It's like it's not going anywhere. This is long before really the internet. There wasn't much forums or anything on the internet talking about silver stacking or anything like that back in those days. So I just thought, well, I'll keep it, but I'm not going to buy a whole lot more. It's not really doing much. price wise, and so I just kind of held on to it. And I think that's the thing that people that have been stacking as long as I and others have, there are going to be lulls in the market for one reason or another. And usually if there's a lull in the market and silver's price kind of stays stagnant, we've seen that happen several times throughout the history of tracking silver prices since they were freed up, I guess, if you will, then, that means that the economy is doing fairly well, like in the mid 90s and the 2000s and early 2000s, all the way up to the financial crisis of 2007, 2008. And from the last decade, from 2014 through 2019, very stagnant silver prices in that period. And for all intents and purposes, the economy was doing fairly well. There was obviously issues. There's always underlying issues with what's going on with the dollar, and that's going to be a continual problem. But there's economic activity. Low silver prices means everything is good, generally, in a very, very general sense. And that is the time to really to buy, I think, and to hold on at the very least. And so that's kind of what I did, and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I didn't give up on it. But one of the reasons why I didn't give up on it, because I liked having those bars and those coins and those rounds. They were cool. You could literally stack them up. And, there's something to the physical act of stacking that doesn't require buying, especially if you already own 2 or 3 pieces that you can put on top of each other. Sometimes you just got to take words literally.
Oh, yeah. Particularly like different ones that you can stack on each other.
Yep.
The Scottsdale stackers.
Yep, that's right.
A few of the other ones. I've also got stackers from a pourer who does really, really well. It goes by the name of Haley Bug, if you've ever seen any of her things.
Okay. That is neat.
Yeah, it is. I do separate them into different boxes. I got a new box that's for presidents and patriotism. And then I created a new box after that just solely for President Trump, because I think that he's probably, and this is my own opinion, no one else's, our only decent choice this time around. I think you maybe share the same point, but that's not for me to say. That's for you to say, or not say at all.
No, I agree. And, with politics, there's 2 different avenues for politics that can affect precious metal prices. Geopolitics, I think, has a greater effect, especially nowadays, as what we've seen on the world stage. But domestic politics now, with the election coming up, is certainly something we should consider as far as affecting precious metal prices. Now, in terms of my opinion on it, I'm not shy about sharing my opinion, especially in the live streams, but I've been known to do it in the videos as well, too. But in the videos, I don't like to push it too hard. I'll give you, for instance, I did a video just maybe a week or so ago, the first channel on YouTube to break the news about the new official Trump silver rounds. Now they have a gold one that's slabbed, very, very expensive, but the Trump silver rounds, the official Trump rounds that was offered by and endorsed and created by Donald Trump. And I posted that video from the historic context. There's a lot of Trump rounds. You can find them everywhere. And most of them have horrible designs. It's hard to get Trump to look good on a silver round. Very few have been able to really do it. And these rounds came out, and Trump looks unusually young in this. He wants to make himself look as good as possible. But, I kind of approached it from the historic aspect of it and said, hey, I'm a Donald Trump fan, but to think I would still be just as easily intrigued if Kamala Harris were to came out with her own silver round, because it would be historic. But I lost at least 12 to 15 subscribers from that video. And it's the TDS is heavy with some people. Even just the mere mention of his name, it's a heavily triggering thing. But the TDS is very real. But the thing is it also goes to show you that there's a lot of people that watch my videos that are not fans of Trump and are not conservative, and I find that intriguing. I welcome all viewers, of no matter what your political stripe is, no matter what your religion or what have you, and I want them to speak their mind. My channel is I'm an absolutist when it comes to the First Amendment. You're free to speak your mind as long as you're respectful. Say what you want, but understand that I'm going to share my viewpoints as well, and I'm not going to be terribly shy about it, but I'm not going to proselytize about it either. So, yes, you and I we share our same viewpoint on who we should vote for in this election. It literally is the most important election, no question about it, just for the sheer gravity of what's at stake. I think that people should be able to speak their mind, at least on my channel. Anybody that has a viewpoint, I will certainly consider it, and feel free to speak your mind no matter what it is there.
I'm the same way. When I've done my live streams, I've pretty much told them everyone can speak their mind. I'm a firm believer in the First Amendment. Just don't be rude. I've got a video coming up. So I'm going to give you and everyone else a prelim of what's coming out for the additions to what I like to call my Trump box. Because just like I have a Tesla box, and I've included Thomas Edison in the Tesla box simply because he was a part of its history, and Tesla was taken advantage of by Edison. I also have a round in there on Einstein because he had said that when someone asked him, how does it feel to be the smartest man in the world? And he said, I don't know. Why don't you go ask Nikola Tesla? So
Wow.
I do keep pieces of that person's history in there also.
Right.
So this is one of my newer pickups.
Nice. That's cool.
It's a colorized 1 ounce bar that I got from Scottsdale Mint. Yeah, Scottsdale.
Oh, very cool.
But
very nice.
It was not the only one I got.
Okay. All right. Yeah, there's one from Kamala too.
I'm
Nice.
not a fan of
Right.
Miss Kamala, but she is part of his history.
Right. That's
Being
true.
that she is part of his history, she goes in that box.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. True.
And including,
I can't see exactly what.
let me see if I can get it.
If you can move it closer to the camera. Is that Hillary?
That's Hillary.
Okay. Wow. Interesting.
I found her on eBay.
Oh, wow.
And it's all silver. I check everything on my metalytics plus weight, sometimes other tests. And I don't hold it against the person that I don't particularly agree or disagree with their politics, but they're part of our history now.
Mm-hmm.
And subsequently,
you want to commemorate that. Yeah.
I want to commemorate that. And I want to use it to teach my grandsons.
Yeah.
So, you mentioned that you were wondering where you can get a Kamala.
Scottsdale.
Right.
Yeah.
So I hope I didn't bore you with all that.
No. I think that makes perfect sense. And I can understand the logic on getting those. In fact, I know that J.M. Bullion has sold a Joe Biden silver round, and there are some of her colorized pieces as well on their website. So I think those kind of materials themed because precisely some people will probably collect them for the reason that you stated. So it makes sense.
Exactly. One of my main reasons for doing my channel was to teach my grandsons.
Right.
So
that's great.
But also to teach others in the community. The grandsons came first, and then it dawned on me as I'm preparing to teach them, I can teach others. And just like you, I want to be able to teach everyone everything that's involved, which is one of the reasons I was so grateful when I found out the video about Delegate Chris Pritt. And I did see the video you did on the Trump round. I'm hopefully going to get one of those in the near future.
Right.
But enough about me. Sometimes I babble too much. I apologize.
No. It's interesting. I like hearing your viewpoints and reasons for having certain pieces in your collection.
So the people who are new to stacking, is it too late? What is your advice for the new people on such a topic?
It's never too late until you can't actually buy them anymore at all. There's a word unobtainium. I don't think that will ever come about to be, but gold and silver will always be there. And I think that the methods of procurement may change down the road. We have price inhibitors. In other words, if the spot price gets too high or premiums get too high, you buy less. But I think I'm a firm believer in a dollar cost averaging method. In fact, I take a little bit step further, and I something I call enhanced dollar cost averaging, where you buy a little bit more if the price goes low. There's a big dip, in other words, in the metals markets. Well, if you have the extra money, discretionary income, it may be a good time to stack a little bit more. Or if the price spikes up dramatically on a given day, maybe you don't buy it all during that period. Save your money for the next dip if it comes. There's a little bit of a gamble there, but I think as you do dollar cost average, you'll be able to recognize those massive spikes or massive dips or plunges, and realize that in that consolidation period, you can act or react accordingly. But I think that if you're a new stacker and you're just getting into it and you're thinking, silver's up over 30% this year, am I too late? No, silver has a lot of room to move up, especially silver has a lot of room to move up. And I'm not saying that it's going to go crazy in price, but I think that it's far short of its all-time high, and it's very short of its of even where the average should be in comparison, of over the last couple of times where we've seen it hover around those all-time highs and the padding between those periods. Gold is at an all-time high, but not when adjusted for inflation. And there's so many different options for gold right now. You can get pieces like this, like he's showing there on the screen. Is that a pre-33 Indian?
Pre-33, $2.50 incuse Indian.
Nice. And technically that's not incused. A lot of people think they're incused. That's called sunken relief.
Really?
Yep. There's a little difference there with that. But it's brilliant what the designer did for that. But those coins sell for a premium even now. And pre-33 gold is one way you can go, except for those, which are nice, but they do still hold somewhat of a premium because they didn't really mint quite as many of those. There are some more common dates, but almost all of them that I've seen, unless they're really heavily worn out, carry a premium with them. And part of the reason that they moved away from that design is because people were afraid that they would get dirt in between where the sunken relief is, and then they would spread germs. That's nice. Is that a 2.5 gram?
This one is a quarter ounce.
Oh, quarter ounce. Okay.
They come in 1/10, 1/4, half, and a whole.
Nice.
At that particular time, I couldn't afford a whole ounce, so I got the one that I could afford. I'm not a big fan of bars, but in light of what we're going through, both my faith in our God and my faith in what our country should be, that was a perfect piece.
Yes, it is beautiful for sure. Yeah. And those are the kind of pieces now, especially with the premiums going down on gold. Fractional gold is as obtainable as it was when gold's price was, $100 lower, maybe even, because they just, it's gotten to that point now. Look at that. That's a nice dog there. Series 1 dog, it looks like.
2006.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a bad price considering, what the prices are now.
Right.
So long ago, I got this back in July.
Okay, nice.
Little funny story. I bought a half ounce, I don't know, about a year plus ago. And my wife, who is a dog trainer and dog lover and breeder, and she's amazing. She's going to be the next dog whisperer.
Nice.
She saw that, and it was anniversary time, and I didn't get anything, so I let her have the half ounce. I waited a long time to find, I was looking for the half ounce because they're cheaper.
Right.
Half ounce, so I ended up getting the whole ounce.
Very nice. Congratulations on that.
She'll probably take it when she sees it.
Right.
She has a little phrase that she loves to get me with. Is this for me?
Oh, yeah.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. With the gold prices being what they are, I lean heavier towards silver. So I lean heavier towards silver because I think that silver, like you just said, has a higher up potential where gold tends to go slowly up with very little volatility. Silver has met its all-time high, and it tends to be more volatile.
Yes, that's right.
Getting back to what we were talking about, what's happening in our nation. In your opinion, where do you think we're going, and how do you think that will affect people who are stacking with their wealth, whether they're a stacker or not?
Well, I think that gold is going to continue to show very high prices. Now, we may get a dip, depending on who wins the election, but I think it'll be temporary because a lot of what's driving gold prices is what other nations are doing. They've been accumulating a lot of gold. Geopolitics is certainly still a concern, and that's helped propping up gold's price. But even if that went away, these nations are not likely going to give up their gold for some time. They're going to hold on to it because they see the problem that's going on, not only with their currency and their neighbors' currencies, but also the U.S. dollar, which has about a 58% influence with international exchanges around the world, which is still very high, even though it was at 72% back in 2002. But gold is likely to stay up no matter what. And I think silver, too, is likely going to show itself with a pretty solid support no matter who wins the election. If Kamala wins and we see the economy and inflation rear its ugly head again, we see the economy start to falter some, and we head into a recession, then I think silver will be bolstered by inflationary situation, maybe even a stagflationary situation, a minor stagflationary situation, but also it'll fall along with gold in that regard, and that'll be somewhat propped up there. It won't. I think the gold to silver ratio will widen more because there won't be as much economic activity, and industrial demand will wane off a bit, and that will keep silver prices from climbing as fast as gold. Trump gets in there and we see economic activity increase and we start to see a recovery, although we could see a recession in 2025, and likely that will happen no matter what. How he handles that recession will be a different matter. If he cuts taxes and if we can get economic activity flowing again, we get manufacturing happen back here in the United States and see that occur, more demand for silver for a lot of the goods and services that we use. And services, I say, because even with our services, that still involves silver and a number of different hardware devices that provide those services like 5G. Silver is everywhere and in most everything that has an electrical component to it. So I think we're going to see silver's demand continue to prop up. And I think we actually may see the gold to silver ratio narrow under Trump presidency. And we may see silver actually move up more, even in a good economic recovery, because demand will keep going for it. And that will be, I guess, probably the best scenario if you're a stacker now. But if you're stacking, well, it's going to be probably a little bit tougher to accumulate because the prices will be higher. I don't know how high they'll be. I can speculate and we can say that maybe they might hit in the mid 30s, stay there, 36, maybe 37. It would not surprise me if we saw that occur. But it could go as high as 40 as well next year or the year after.
I agree with you. With the potential for recovery under Trump, it won't happen fast because kind of like the train is already headed in one direction when you change the engineer. The next engineer has to reassess the situation and redirect the train in a different direction. In the meantime, the train is still going. But
Right.
we'll still have some hangover effect from the current administration until other decisions are made.
Which is exactly what happened in 2017 when Trump took office the first time. He was not able to root out the administrative states. And I don't think he saw it as quite the threat that it was back then. Now he sees that. There's actually a fairly good chance that if he were to win the election, that he may appoint Elon Musk to become the government efficiency czar, so to speak. Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, very well could audit and cut back some of the government, and that would decrease spending. That would really help a lot and actually get deficit spending under control, and we could actually maybe potentially stop deficit spending. Can you imagine? Now notice I didn't say anything about the debt. The debt is climbing at an incredible rate, $1 trillion every 100 days. It's insane, but we can do it. Why? Because, well, we're the top dog. We have the cleanest of the dirty shirts in the laundry pile, and because we're still so influential, even though de-dollarization is going on, we have the luxury of being able to do it. Right now, we're too big to fail. The dollar. That is until it isn't too big to fail. I think once it falls under 50% influence around the world, then we got to start assessing and reassessing things, because BRICS is coming on pretty hard and heavy. They very well could change things with their something called unit that they're coming out with, and more likely there'll be some announcements and talks about it at their meeting on the 22nd, 23rd of October. And so there's some real threats there, and those threats are going to be there no matter who takes office.
I think that they've been planning that for a long, long, long time.
Yes, and there's still a lot more to go on it too. Yeah.
Most certainly. To be honest with you, if that happens, we're in it deep.
Yep.
I like to think that we have a chance to pull it around, whether you're talking about Trump, like you mentioned, or talking about Elon Musk, as you mentioned, and whether people like Trump or don't like Trump is, in my opinion, irrelevant. Who's going to do the job to save the currency? Who's going to do the job to promote business and jobs in this country, which will then promote the economy and put us hopefully back to where we were when we took over as the world reserve currency after Great Britain? Because it really revolves around, in my opinion, the strength of the military and the strength of the business that is in that particular country.
Yep, I agree.
Well, the way I see it is Elon Musk is a businessman. Trump is a businessman. And when you look at our ancestors after we had separated ourselves from England, is that after the war was over, they realized they had to enter into world trade in order for the government of the new nation that is America to start to build. So business is an integral part of countries staying afloat.
That's right. They sure are.
I think having people who understand business and running the country as a business instead of the opposite is an integral part of the success of our future.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, I mean, there are certainly aspects from a nuanced point of view where you can't treat the government as a business in certain aspects, especially the constitutionally mandated things. But
True.
most everything else, especially how far it's gone off the reservation, so to speak, we need a business mind in there to reform government and to make it efficient again. That's sorely needed. But we need to maintain military superiority to be a superpower and economic superiority, and both are much needed in this country.
I most certainly agree. I think you and I agree on this. Well, pretty much almost everything.
Right? Yeah.
I've pretty much come to the end of my questions. Is there anything in particular you want to cover?
Nope. I think that's it. We had a good, lively discussion here, and I appreciate you having me on. And it's truly an honor. I'm going to say hello to all of your subscribers and viewers, and thank you so much for listening to this video and Tiger Stacker. And it's a great community, and I'm honored to be part of it with you. And it's a great thing. It's growing, and I think it's only going to get better from here.
I appreciate that so very much. You've been an inspiration to me. I certainly hope that my subscribers will continue to grow. I've been doing it slowly. My work has gotten in the middle. The infection got in the middle of it, but I won't stop. This community, making videos, teaching, leaving messages for my grandsons and for the rest of the community, really brings me a lot of joy. It's actually like a vacation to me. So
that's awesome. It can be therapeutic for sure.
Almost.
I'm glad that it's doing that for you. That's awesome.
I certainly hope that the viewers will, as the channel growing and I have the opportunity to have such really wonderful people like Uncle Sal here, please consider to hit the like button, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment. It will help the channel out tremendously. And those of you who have not gone to Salivate Metal's channel, I encourage you to do so. He brings a lot of great content. He's one of the most active content creators, brings a lot of what's going on in the real world and how it affects your wealth, your stability, your metals, and how to go about getting more at the least prices possible. You can't get a more up-to-date content creator than Salivate Metal. And if you're not visiting his channel and you're not subscribed to his channel, you're really missing out. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Tiger, for those kind words. I appreciate it. And it's an honor again. Thank you so much again for having me.
Thank you for coming. I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you very much, Uncle Sal. Good night, everyone. Tiger Stacker out.